Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
All right, race fans, welcome to the Monticello Motor Club Esports Challenge. It's our third race of the season and our second live broadcast coming to you from Interlagos, the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace track, a fantastic F1 circuit, and joined as always by my trusty co-host, Tom Cairns. Tom, are you excited about this race tonight or what?
I am absolutely so. Around one of the most nostalgic circuits in the world, the circuit which is named after the 1975 Brazilian Grand Prix winner Carlos Pace, who we sadly lost a couple of years after that. But of course, that's the reason why the circuit is named after him. But I am looking forward to this one, as qualifying has already reached its conclusion, with Josh Green setting the pace and putting his car on pole position with Trenton Walco alongside. They are just on the racetrack at the moment, so we'll run down on the grid now. Green and Walco on the front row, then it's Peter Bank and Eric Paterno on row 2, Jeff Ernsting and Sean McAuliffe on row 3, Casey Mosley and Manny Tartaglione on row number 4, Paul Barthelms and William Farr round out the top 10. Then we've got Jason Cohen and Chris Peterson on row number 6, and we look to Ron Trenker and James Garay on row 7. The final row of the grid is made up of Mikel Stack and Anthony Altalio.
Car just now rolling off for our formation lap. Couple of instructors on the front row, as Tom just said. We've got Josh Green and Trent Walco, two ace sim racers, also very handy in real life behind the wheel. The field is going to have a tough time with Green on the pole. So Paterno bringing his A game, I'm sure. He and Sean McAuliffe and all these drivers, Peter Bank, also an instructor, all are going to be looking to chase these BMWs on the front row of Walco and Green. Working on our formation lap right now, Ron Trinka there in the McLaren as always. Thor looking to move up from 14 early in this race. I just can't wait to get this underway.
I'm very sure the same. If I could get my words up, yes, it is that late in the evening. It's coming up to around about 1:45, 2 in the morning in the UK. Of course, we've got not just one but two races coming up here, and the pace car will be entering the pit lane to kickstart the race. We'll just wait for the red lights to come on, and then when they go green, we'll go racing here around this Interlagos course. Of course, is the home of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, as it's known nowadays, as it has been since 2021, but a lot of people still call it the Brazilian Grand Prix because it's in Brazil.
One of the great things about this track is the elevation change. You know, when you watch F1 cars here, it is amazing. There's almost 141 feet of drop and climb between turns 1 and 5. And we are green, just like that. The pace car is in, and the green flag is, and this race is underway as Josh Green moves to defend the front row and turns in to turn 1. We are away. Let's hopefully get through turn 1 here clean into the Senna S.
And it looks like Casey Mosley has made up positions from 7th on the grid up into 4th. And there's a spinner at the back. It looks like James Garay's gone for a spin. And that's left him with a lot of work to do in a race that is not so long. So not the best of starts for James Garay. And that's a car in the barrier as well. That's Paul Barthelms, who has come together with someone that's put him in the barrier there. There's no doubt there's going to be damage to that Mustang. And so Paul, well, he'll be really, really gutted to have been up in the walls at this stage. It looks like someone else has also caught the barrier. It looks like Manny Taglione, Derek, has gone
quite
into the
a bit, yes, quite a bit of oversteer there. Manny with a little exuberance on the throttle, and I believe he lit the rears and brought it around into the wall on the left. And this race is providing some excitement for these racers right off the bat. Like we noticed before, Tom, there is a lack of DSC in these cars, and it takes a lot of nuance on that throttle, especially on the first lap as we're working to get some heat in these tires.
There's your timing tower as to where everyone is. It looks like Chris Peterson has also ended up with damage. Anthony Ortalio has also ended up with damage to his car, hence why there's the black and orange flag next to same on the timing tower. So he'll most likely have to come into the pit lane to get some repair work done. But there we look at Michael Stack, who's running in 9th position, made up positions, avoiding all of the drama. But there is Josh Green with Trent Walco also just waiting for the opportunity. It's BMW versus BMW as we complete the first lap here at Interlagos. And will we see any more battling around the course? And behind Walco, you got Peter Bank in the Merc next, and it's Casey Mosley in the second Merc. And that's Sean McAuliffe off at turn number 2. Well, I say off, he's had a spin, and he's got out of the way of the oncoming traffic. But that's a terrible shame there for McAuliffe because he was running rather well.
Oh, yeah. I think he's avoided any damage to his car, but certainly not going to help his lap times doing that 8-point turn there.
So this is James.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, this is James Garay. Is he going to catch the curb? I just took too much curb. These cars are not the best of friends with these kind of curves. They are quite aggressive, these ones around Interlagos. And then we're going to see Paul Barthelms. It was just a tap from the car that was to his right-hand side that's put him in the barrier. So that's significant damage for Paul Barthelms. And Anthony Ortalio, what's he managed to do here? Don't tell me he's got caught up in the aftermath of that. He probably didn't. That's Ron Trenker spinning out to Cedar de Largo. He's
tough break for Trenka.
He's going to get. Is he going to get a tap, or is that just by himself? It's by himself. No one else is involved there. And Ortalio did pick up damage later on in that. That's Manny Taglione, who had gone into the. Oh dear me, that's an unsafe rejoin from Taglione. And
I believe Manny is the one that touched. He touched Paul Barthelms. It was the green Merc that touched Barthelms that put him around, and now Manny's gone around himself. Oh no, tough break.
Yeah, I just don't know how he just doesn't have control. I mean, I know you don't have grip on the grass, but that was Anthony Ortalio just taken round there. Oh, was that Chris Peterson? I wonder, because Chris Peterson was another driver that picked up damage during the course of that first lap.
Peterson also with the meatball in the pits right now.
So plenty of drivers with damage already. Taglione carried on, actually. He's not opted to go into the pit lane to get that scene to. But we'll focus our attentions to what's happening up front now. It's BMW, leading Merc in the top 4.
McAuliffe, as we thought maybe he had escaped damage on that spin, but he's in the pit with a mechanical, so I believe maybe he did not escape damage, as Jason Cohen makes a great move on the inside. Clean pass on Michael Stack. He got inside, and now Stack coming back at him, and there's another car around.
That's Artelio spinning again, this time at turn number 8 for him, but he's avoided any further drama with the other drivers, so at least he's out on his way. Although he's gone for a little bit of lawn mowing by the looks of it, so it looks like Artelio hasn't exactly got a good grip on the machine just yet. But Josh Green is 3/10 clear over Warco as they come around, and you could just see Artelio. Do you know why that is? That's because the rear tyres are pretty cooked at the moment, so he needs to take it easy through the next sequence of corners. Does Anthony. Out of the pits comes Manny Tarcleone, who's nearly down a lap to the leaders who are coming through the Curva de Sol.
Josh Green turns into turn 1 down through the Senna S, still leading the pack. Working on lap number 4 now. Trent Walco, a fantastic sim driver in his own right. These two are the class of the field, and you would expect them to run 1 and 2 for most of this race. I'm looking for something out of Paterno and Jeff Ernstine tonight, though. Both of those guys are excellent member drivers.
This is stuck on the pit straight. What has he managed to do here? Is this a dive bomb he's attempted to do? Oh, it is a dive bomb. It's come so far back.
Ooh.
And amazingly, he made the corner.
Oh, my gosh. So optimistic. Tom, he just turned in with hopes and dreams there, and he made it stick. Fantastic work there by Michael Stack.
I mean, not to take anything away from him, but it felt to me like Cohen was just caught napping and not really defending the position. Oh, there goes Cohen coming back through at Descida de Largo, but this time he's got a little too deep, and that allows Stack to go back through again into 8th position.
Trent Walco looking at the rear of Josh Green, something he's accustomed to doing since last season. Trent, one of the better instructors. Trent and Josh, 2 fantastic instructors. Let me tell you, if you want to be fast like these guys in real life, you can contact Concierge at Monticello Motor Club and book either one of these fantastic instructors for some private instruction in your race car at Monticello Motor Club. Josh looking smooth as ever. Josh having a fantastic offseason, being selected as one of 3 BMW Motorsports Academy drivers worldwide, being groomed by BMW and their racing program for factory works drivers. We are very proud of Josh, the only American driver to qualify for that BMW Motorsports Academy seat.
Here we are then on lap number 5, and it's less than 5 seconds separating the top 5 drivers. Eric Paterno is at the back of this particular crocodile in 5th place in the Porsches. The highest of the Porsches actually is Paterno. He is one of 7 drivers racing in Porsches this evening.
Yeah, Paterno, known as the Flying Finn or the Swifty Swiss, is he's running that Club Sport MR GT4. He runs that exact car in that same livery in the club on the regular. It was our GT4 champion last year, and a excellent driver in real life and in the sim. One of the more accomplished sim racers, and he has got a great run tonight. Good news for Paterno. Unlike the last time we had a broadcast, he got a clean start and is still racing clean.
That's James Garay going through on Jason Cohen at the Biga de Pato corner, making up for the lost time he had at the beginning where he had that spin at the Senna S. And Garay's coming through the field nicely actually now into 9th place. He's got Michael Stack in 8th position, who will be on his toes, I would have thought. But I'm not exactly liking the lines of which Stack is taking here compared to Garay.
Good eye there, Tom. He's driving a racetrack that I'm not even familiar with, but seems to be working for him right now. So we'll let the guy let him cook. We're 9 minutes into this race, 11 minutes to go, with a big move there.
It's gone too deep though, as Garay. Has he got the momentum on the exit? He does just about. He gets through on Stack at turn 1. I didn't think he was going to make the corner there, did Garay, but he's made it work.
I did not either, Tom. I tell you something I saw earlier out of the leaders. Oh, look at this move inside. Look at how clean. Oh, no, it did not work for all three of them.
That was clumsy from Jason Cohen, and he's pulled to the side. And Peter Bank has also hit shot on. It's just a connection. My apologies for that. Cohen has stopped at Interlagos, and he's back into pit lane. That'll be some consolation, I think, for James Garay, because that was not exactly clean at all from Cohen whatsoever. So he just tried to do what Garay did a couple of corners before, but he just came from too far back and was never going to get that car slowed down.
Too much entry speed, not enough forward grip. Wow, Chris Peterson also vying for the John Deere Award himself tonight. I'll tell you, as you watch the leaders here, Tom, something I noticed a little bit earlier. Trent Walco is putting a little pressure on Josh. That car, Josh's car out front, he's working pretty hard, and I believe that Josh is using quite a bit of rubber to stay in front of Trent Walco. This race might get exciting before the end here, because Trent has really brought his A game, and I can tell that he is applying quite a bit of pressure to Josh Green. Green is working hard to stay in front of Trent.
Walco's making a race of it, which is exactly what we want to be seeing. We felt that Josh Green may have been running away with it, but it's far from that. And Walco is doing his utmost. That's a spin. Is that Ortelio going for a spin? I think it is, yeah, it's Ortelio going for a spin. At the right-hander of turn 8. And, we'll just want this race to be over and done with so you can get on with the next one. But these two have put on a good show. I just wonder how long it'll be before Walco decides to go for it, or whether he thinks, do you know what, second place will do for me. But given the pace that he's been setting so far tonight, I can't see why he shouldn't go for it.
Yeah, turn 1 is going to be the ticket, Tom. Turn 1 is going to be, I think, where Trent tries to make his move, just like some other drivers have tried tonight, but I think Trent won't be quite so clumsy.
He's too far back, I think, to do it here. Is Trent?
Sure.
Yeah, he's not going to go for it.
Not yet. It's still too early. 8 minutes to go in the race. Race fans, 8 minutes to go. We appreciate everyone watching the broadcast with us tonight from historic Interlagos in Sao Paulo.
And feel free to get involved in the live chat. And Brian, who's just come in saying, you know, Michael set with the dive bomb. Well, that was quite something, wasn't it, from Stack earlier to pull that one off. He's now he's running in 8th position, just 22 seconds off William Farr. He's basically got no one to be fighting with as him, and it's the same you could say to Jeffrey Ersting, who is in P6. But these two are just, well, I say these two, Chris Peterson just right on bottom. He's just getting out of the way of the leaders coming through. Does he leave room? That was not ideal for Walco to be encountering him at that part of the circuit. But Peterson, well, he can unlap himself if he wants to, but he cannot be running into the other drivers whilst doing that. And if I was Peterson, I would just back off and just let these two fight, because it's not his battle. It's not his business to get involved in it.
However, you're right, Tom, but Peterson, also an instructor at the club. These guys work together on a daily basis, and there's just more at stake than there's just. I will just say there's a lot of stake in the locker room for these for Peterson and Walco and Green.
6.5 minutes to go in this first race. Now, once the 20 minutes have elapsed, whatever lap the leader is on will be the final lap. They've been setting laps at like 1 minute 40. So going by that logic, we will have 4 more laps of racing around Interlagos. So it will be a 12-lap affair. And there we see the rest of the field coming through. That's William Farr we're looking at now in that red livery there in the Porsche. In 7th place, 7 seconds off Jeff Ersting in 6th, who is looking to go after Eric Paterno, who's another 7.5 seconds up the road. And Casey Mosley, is doing his best to chase after Peter Bank, who's also not had too much to do. And you can just see the iRacing rating, or license rather, of where the drivers are in terms of the experience, I suppose. But that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see the effort out of Paterno tonight. You know, he's had a string of bad luck, some really unfortunate, unlucky starts in races this year and also last year. So I'm just happy to see him running clean air in 5th place behind Casey Mosley. That's a fantastic result for him so far. With about 5 minutes to go in this race.
Eric Paterno running wide though, won't want to be doing that too many times, as he might end up with a slowdown, but he's got so much in hand over Jeff Ersting, he won't need to worry about losing time, but he will ideally want to try and go after Casey Mosley if he can here, because he's coming up behind Chris Peterson to lap, but he may get a toe off him and pull away from Paterno as the laps continue to tick down here. So the closest battle we've only got is between the top two, but Walco has been stuck behind Green since the beginning, hasn't exactly gone for the move.
Nearly 7/10 back. He needs to close that gap in the next lap or two if he's even going to have a chance to attack. Green's defensive tactics are fantastic, though. So Trent's going to have, getting to Green is going to be one thing. Getting around him is going to be quite another.
Up the hill they go through Ferragura and La Regina. And this is turn 8, the S, before Pinarino in turn 9, the hairpin that they're heading through, that undulates. And this is the Biga de Pato corner. This is the one where Lewis Hamilton and Alex Albon came together in the fight for second position in the Brazilian Grand Prix in 2019. Of course, we know how that ended up, or F1 fans know how that played out. Then they know how much drama this circuit can provide. It has decided championships in the past, and the last time it did so was in 2012. Of course, that was the finale between Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel in that wet-dry event, and that tells you everything about how intense it was back in those days. We remain with Josh Green and Trent Walco as we begin the penultimate lap of the race now. And you can just see Walco just keeping Green in sight, but Green has never put a foot wrong since the beginning, Derek.
He is not. That really is the patented Josh Green, right? He's not easily shaken. He's going to just turn laps and turn laps and turn laps. Very repeatable, very smooth, very clean, and unruffled.
And up. And this is Michael Stack and James Garay. Garay is, he's still chasing after Stack, who is running in P8. The gap between those two is less than a second, and not too long left in the race between these two. So if Garay's going to pass him, he needs to do it within the next couple of laps. There he is. Look into the inside to Stack. No, he's there. Oh, he doesn't leave him room.
Nose inside. Oh, tough result.
That's 6 in one and half a dozen the other. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking the same thing, Tom. Stack and Garay, I don't know. It worked for Stack, did not work for Garay, and ultimately did not work for Stack either.
Let's have a look again between these two. Garay came from so far back. Yeah, the door was left open. To be honest with you, I would put the blame on Stack for not leaving him room.
He should have been close to the inside. He left. He all but dared him to stick it in there like that. I agree. Hey, it's why race fans come to the track. This is the action. This is what they pay the big money for, Tom. This is why the ticket sales have just been through the roof. This kind of racing action. And kudos to our control booth, Sam, on the camera work tonight. These replays and camera angles have been fantastic. We are close to the final lap now.
Yeah, Garay going for it again. But he's dropped it again. And I wonder how many times he's going to keep on doing that and for it to backfire, because it just hasn't worked for Garay, to be honest with you. And I don't know what to say.
I know. It's late in the race. Guys are getting very racy, getting a little spicy, turning right in, closing the door like that. I mean, I kind of put that on Stack. He's open. He leaves the door open and then just closes it much too late.
Well, I mean, that one, I would say Garay he came too far back on a corner like that. It was not his corner. But the leaders are coming round to the end of the race, out of Yunsau for the last time, and it's Josh Green who's going to lead Trent Walker to a photo finish here at Interlagos, Sao Paulo, Brazil. Josh Green heads over the line to take victory in race number 1 with Walco in second place, and it is Peter Bank who will make it to the podium in his Merc, followed by Casey Mosley and Eric Padsnow.
Yep, fresh off their Daytona adventure last week. Oh, Peter Bank sending so much virtual money to virtual heaven with the carbon fiber flying. And Paterno racing to the line now with Jeff Ernstine. How about that? What a race.
And there we see Jeff Ernstine that's William Farr going over the line. And we'll look at Ron Trenker, who's got by both Stack and Garay in the final laps. So good on Trenker for coming back through the field.
Nicknamed Thor. Kudos to Thor there for getting it done and driving clean. He had some excitement early in the race, had some little over rotation, but has come back nicely through the end of the race.
There is, and it's because Stack went so far out wide, carried too much speed at Yunsau, and Trenker just accepted the position and going on by. And he heads over the line now to finish. Trenker, who's 8th, Stack 9th, and Garay in 10th position.
Hopefully Sean McAuliffe and Paul Barthelms will get the repairs done to their car and have a better result in race 2.
Race 1 concludes with Josh Green, the winner, and Trent Walco in second place. And it's Peter Bank in 3rd position, with Eric Padsnow it's showing in 4th position there, but really it should be Casey Mosley. It is. Eric Padsnow in 5th, followed by Jeff Ernstine. Then it's William Farr in 7th, Ron Trenker 8th, Michael Stack in 9th, and James Garay running out the top 10. Manny Taglione in 11th place, followed by Chris Peterson, with Jason Cohen the last driver to finish. We lost Anthony Ortelio, Sean McAuliffe, and Paul Barthelms. So just to give you a little bit of insight on the course of Interlagos. So the lap begins with the Senna S at turns 1 and 2. And then we head through the Curva de Sol, that is turn 3, just on the left-hand side of your picture. And then it's the back straight, otherwise known as the Retroaposta, before they head towards turn number 4. So there is the pit straight. There is the Senna S of turns 1 and 2. Named after the 3-time world champion, the late Ayrton Senna. And then it's the Curva de Sol of 3 through the left-hander, a very fast-flowing left-hander, onto the Retroaposta. And I have to say, it's a lovely section, lovely flow to begin the lap. And then now we head through the back straight towards turns 4 and 5, the Descida de Lago section, which is named after the Descent Lake. Hence why that's the Portuguese translation for that. Through turn 5, and it's up the hill towards the first of the 2 right-handers, Ferradura for turn 6, and La Rainha for turn 7, which is named after an orange tree or something like that around here. And it's turn 8, otherwise known as the S, and turn 9 being the Pinheirinho hairpin. And then this is the next corner of turn 10 being Bica de Pato. And then it's back down the hill through Magulio at turn number 11. After that, it's the turn 12 corner of Yunsau, and it's 3 kinks towards the finish line. And that rounds out the lap of this current configuration of Interlagos, Sao Paulo. Derek.
Yeah, it's such a historic layout. So much history, so much racing, as you mentioned earlier. But, the fact that this is the Brazil track with the Senna S, it just, 3-time world champion Ayrton Senna, probably, I mean, people argue, people say one thing, people say something else. I'm a Senna guy, you know. I just think he was the greatest. And every time I think about Interlagos or Sao Paulo, I think about the best Brazilian driver of all time, Ayrton Senna. And I'm excited for race 2. I think we're going to have a great race. I think everybody learned a lot. And I'm hoping for a nice, clean race out of all the instructors and the members as we get ready for race 2.
Jeff Erskine racing what we perceive are like Brazilian colours around here. I don't know if that's just the one-off or whether that's his permanent colour scheme. It's a lovely livery nevertheless.
I think it's one-off.
Yeah. Well, we've had a lot of Brazilian drivers race around here. The latest one, which the Brazilian fans will be cheering for during the course of 2026, I say it's a new driver, he started last year, is Gabriel Bortoleto, the Formula 2 champion of 2024 and Formula 3 champion of 2023. One of the exciting prospects. He has shown some promise last year for Sauber, who are nowadays the Audi team. So just hope that Bortoleto can kick on from there. And who knows, we could well see our first Brazilian race winner since Felipe Massa took his final F1 win at this track, where he nearly won the title back in 2008.
It was a great season. That was a great season. Only about 30 seconds to go in this warm-up, and look at that. I'll tell you, the Barthelme's livery always delivers. Always delivers.
He's pretty eye-catching, I have to say. We didn't see too much of that because Barthelme's was eliminated on the first lap in race number 1.
Sure.
But let's hope we can get further round at this time. Don't really want to see drivers coming together. I mean, I know some drivers are quicker than others, and you know, some maybe further down the order compared to some. But we want to see drivers get through the race. We want to see some on-track battles during the course of the second 20-minute event, which will begin in a moment or two time. We'll have the half a lap formation lap, or half a formation lap, where the drivers can just get some temperature into the tyres before we get going again. The warm-up session has concluded, and once it transitions into the race, we will run down on the grid again. And here we are, Josh Green on pole again, with Trent Walco alongside Peter Bank and Casey Mosey on the second row, Eric Paterno and Jeff Erskine on the third row of the grid, William Farr and Ron Trenker on row 4, followed by Michael Stack and James Garay. Manny Tartaglione aiming for an improvement from race 1 from P11. Then it's Chris Peterson in 12, Jason Cohen and Anthony Ortelio on row number 7. At the back, we've got Sean McAuliffe and Paul Barthelmes.
I'll tell you, Tom, you need to look out for McAuliffe and Barthelmes on the final row. Those guys have pace that is, they are quicker than last row type drivers. So I'd expect both of those cars to come up through the field. I hope cleanly, but those guys have pace to run definitely in the top half of the field.
The drivers are just sitting patiently around just before Ferradura, or there will be once Peter Bank and Michael Stack made their way onto the grid. They might be starting from the pit lane, thinking of it, those two. I hope I'm wrong with that, but it looks like they are going to be starting from the pit lane. So they're going to be fighting their way through the field, if anything. But we are underway with the half formation lap here, Derek. 14 drivers in the field and 2 presumably starting from the pit lane.
Yeah, with the 2 in the pit lane, on top of what I just told you about the guys on the final row, we might have 4 cars at the back with top quarter pace. I would expect a lot of excitement as those cars try to fight to the front.
Well, Walco didn't decide to go for it on green, but will he decide to change tack and go on by him at the start at least? And then we've got a race on our hands between now and the end. We'll find out soon enough. I'm looking forward to see whether Eric Paterno can make a leap forward, actually. And you never know what could happen at the beginning. But of course, Green was able to defend his line through turn 1, as what Derek had alluded to earlier, which was interesting to see. There are young, how they come. And sooner rather than later, they'll begin here for race number 2.
Lights are out on the pace car. We are coming around for the start. Field is going to stack up. Yeah, I can't say enough about these fantastic camera angles. Sam in the control booth doing such a great job. Pace car dives in, and we are about to go green on race 2. Nice tight field, being paced by Josh Green. Trent Walco looking racy and ready to head to turn 1. We've got a race underway here. Race number 2. As Trent Walco, just as Tom alluded to, trying to be a little racier on lap 1, turn 1. But Green just defends his line and gets it done. Peterson around in the wall. Oh, we've got 4 cars in the wall, Tom.
Yeah, it's how we could have predicted it, actually. There's about half the field at least that's got caught up in that.
It's more than 4.
Yeah, it's definitely more than 4. At least that's helped the likes of... someone was coming out of the pit lane there. I couldn't quite see who that was. But either way, the race is it's underway already. And Jeff Ernst's got by William Farr for 4th position at Interlagos. So he's made his way through. And there we see Farr coming back. Ron Trenko's avoided all the mayhem at the beginning. And so he is up the order. But Casey Mosley has been caught up, and off goes Farr. I absolutely dropped it at turn number 8. Oh, I thought he was going to rejoin into the path of another driver there. I couldn't quite see who that was. But either way, he's dropped down here. I'm looking at Peter Bank, actually. He's shown he's not at the back of the queue. That should be updated, actually, in due course. But we'll see soon enough.
An awesome, excellent decision there by Farr not to drive right into the door of Peter Bank. We saw Manny T in the first race not make such a good decision, and I was glad to see Farr do the right thing, keeping his foot on the brake to let Bank through. Good on Trinka moving up to 5th as well. How about Ron Trinka?
So this is going to be a replay of the start at turn number 2. There is Jason Cohen in the purple car. Does he get a tap round? You can see he's and Paul Barthelms and Sean McAuliffe just didn't have anywhere to go, unfortunately. This is Casey Moses running in 4th position here, Derek.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Peterson just loops it. I mean, Chris Peterson's untouched. Mosley, again, also loops it. But the car that I'm focused on is the one that rotated into the side of, if I could see, I want to see that replay there of what was happening behind Chris Peterson. Peterson just loops it.
Yeah.
That car there, right in the middle, that Merc, who is that right there, number 24? Yeah. Manny T is the one. Manny T also just rotated on throttle and took the purple Porsche out of. That's just not great. Not great.
That's Cohen on the inside of Tartaglione, and
and you watch Cohen. Yeah, Tartaglione just loops it right into Jason Cohen's door. Jason Cohen showing his displeasure by pushing Tartaglione around a little bit.
Yeah, he wasn't having any of it, was he?
Not great first lap there for Peterson or Tartaglione.
We've got a race on our hands at least. Walco's 4/10 off Green, but we've seen that before during the course of this evening. He's not deciding to go for it at turn 1. Behind those two is Eric Patterson. There's some smoke going on in the pit lane there. I don't know whose car it is. Is that Anthony? That's Anthony Ortalio. Yeah, there's a lot of smoke in the pit lane there. Well, that's going to be a lengthy repair work for Ortalio. I wonder if he's had a big shunt into the barrier because the rear wing is gone. The bumper is nowhere to be seen, and it's safe to say that the engine is completely cooked.
Yeah, that Aston's not looking great. Look at these Mercs fighting side by side here. Peter Bank holding the line there, diving inside of Trinka, and Chris Mosley gets the nose inside of Trinka, makes it stick, and is on the attack behind Peter Bank. These AMG class cars really working hard. Bank turning in, holding holding court over Mosley so far, but Mosley looking racy in the early going of this second race.
This is Peter Bank, who's come through from the pit lane to get through into fourth position. Remarkably, this is a replay of the overtake he just pulled off on Ron Trenker. Whilst he had Casey Mosley to his left, Mosley wisely backed out of it because it was going to be a Constantina collision had he continued to stick his nose in there, and he smartly decided to, instead of going try and pass both Trenker and Bank, he went past Trenker only that time around. So he waited for another opportunity to just go after Peter Bank as of when best pleases him, but he's coming close now.
Yeah, Peter Bank in the yellow Mercedes there, being campaigned under the Wu-Tang Financial livery. Tom, do you keep a lot of money at Wu-Tang Financial? It's probably where you do your checking, right? All your banking at Wu-Tang Financial?
I absolutely no, I don't with that particular company. But I'll let someone. I've never even heard of the company itself. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not a real company, but anyway. Casey Mosley joining the fight. I'll tell you, Peter Bank has a lot of pace here. Man, look at Ron Trinka and Jeff Ernstine going door to door in the McLarens. Those Artura GT4s looking good.
Yeah, I think Trenker's beginning to struggle because Ernst is going by, and that's William Farr to his left. It's also following suit. And Walco and Green are fighting over leadership at last. And it looks like Walker will have the inside line for the Biga de Pato corner. And Josh Green, I think, is going to have to yield this time around unless he can get a load of traction on the exit. But Walco is finally through on Josh Green for the lead.
Excellent work out of Trenton Walco there. That is a great set of corners for that kid. And really, it took a lot of Herculean effort to get around Josh Green. We'll see if he can hold court. Now here's Jeff Ernstine, and there's Farr sticking it inside of Trinka. Wow, what a set of corners out of Trent Walco.
And that's Green running a little bit deep. He missed the apex at Ferragira and La Regina, and that was the invitation that Walco needed to head on through. And
a little bit late on the brakes. Opened the door for Trent, and Trent was wisely ready to take advantage. Let's see if he can get it done for the rest of the race, though.
Well, I have no doubt that Josh Green is going to come back and pass him again. So that's going to make the race rather interesting once more. And there we see these two, Walco and Green, in the BMWs. And next behind them is Eric Patino in third position, who's got no one to fight with. But he might end up fighting with one of these two, if not both of them, if they continue squabbling.
I'll tell you, Trent is excellent at defense as well. Both of these guys are very accomplished defenders, and he's going to make Josh Green go the long way around. No matter what he does, I'm sure Trent will be very keen on his mirrors. And you're right, Tom. Paterno might be the overall recipient of some good fortune here if these two instructors continue to tangle.
Ron Trenker continues to struggle. Sean McAuliffe and Paul Barthelms, who came through from the back of the grid, have got past him. I think Trenker may have encountered some trouble on circuit, though. It's not because he's been genuinely overtaken by those two. It's something more problematic than that. Through goes Cohen on Taglione for position.
Yeah, McAuliffe and Paul Barthelms started on the back row and are now running 8th and 9th with about 11 minutes to go in this race. Excellent work out of them so far. Barthelms in that Mustang got tangled up in that original spin between turn 1 and 2 and has now fought his way back in that crazy looking Mustang with a little bit of damage on the front. It's not quite so aerodynamic on the front, and he's still making it work, Tom.
Yeah, and back to the leaders of Walco and Green. Walco holding on again, ahead of his rival in the sister BMW. And Paterno isn't exactly closing on these two, so despite the fact that these two have been battling somewhat, Paterno's not able to get the gap down. Round the outside goes Josh Green on Trent Walco at Ferragira, and he's not gonna. He's been able to hold on. Well, So Walker is able to hold on ahead of Green, is what I was meant to say. He could just see absolute nose to tail sticking together like glue.
Yeah, Josh Green really sizing him up right now. Walco's got to keep his eyes forward and not look at those mirrors. He's really got to focus on a defensive line here because Josh Green is on the attack. Here's Trinka, as you said, moving back through the field. He's got Cohen right behind him now, and also Manny T.
You can see
that big Mercedes.
Yeah, so they're coming back, and I thought Ron Tring had run a little bit wide actually, but I think the fact that Cohen and Tagliane's battle has saved him from falling further down the order. And looking at the gaps, there are the two leaders. Is Green going for it? So one, he is, on the inside goes Josh Green on Trent Walco. Will he get the car slowed down? He does, but Walco's looking to do, switch back on the inside, and it looks like Green's got him.
What a great use of the toe there. Josh Green gets that toe up the hill into turn one and just takes advantage as they turn left through turn one. Not much Walco could do there. The toe advantage on that front straight is so huge for these big cars. Great work out of Josh Green. Now we're going to see, Tom, you're going to see Trent Walco try that same move. He's going to try to stay tucked into the arrow of Josh Green's car. Look at this. Look at that. Manny T making it stick as he works through Josh Cohen on turn one and gets really close to Trinka.
Yeah, he's got by Cohen that time. He came so close to running into the rear of Trinka, but he got it slowed down, did Manny. But Cohen is fighting back. This is for 12th position. And the only cars behind him are Chris Peterson and Anthony Ortega, who's rejoined the race now, albeit a number of laps behind. He'll be treating this like it's a test session for him so he can understand the car a little bit more. But there are the gaps once again. This is the closest battle we've got on circuit for you for the time being. That's Trinka leading Taglione, leading Cohen.
Yeah, all three of these guys. This is really good racing out of these members. This is why they come out, and a nice move there by Manny T trying to get inside, but Trinka punching back, holding position through these S's. Really technical section of the technical section, and Trinka coming out on top. Great job by Thor there to stay in front of Manny T.
Down the hill they come, and just ahead of these two is these three I should say, is James Garay in P10. Off goes Trinka, run a little too deep, through goes Taglione, and through goes Cohen.
Yeah, that was a little bit misjudged by Ron Trinka there, but I expect him to try to make a comeback here. We've got a little over 7 minutes left in the race. About 4 laps to go as they cross the stripe here. Good battle as you see Ron Trinka trying to close in on Jason Cohen's rear. And so often by so many drivers, way too optimistic by Ron Trinka there. Way, way too optimistic, Ron. Could not get it slowed down, could not get it turned, and he has now lost contact with the other two cars that he was fighting with.
Yeah, he was frustrated, wasn't he? He was too desperate to try and get back through and make up for what he had lost. There we look at Peter Bank and Casey Mosley in the battle for 4th. Peter Bank, as I mentioned before, started this race from the pit lane, avoiding all of the drama, and has somehow got back into 4th place and going after Eric Patino for the final podium position. He's got 7 seconds to make up, which in a space of 4 laps, I think is going to be a tall order for him to do anything about him. But we'll see how he gets on. We'll keep an eye on the gap as the laps continue to tick down.
Speaking of gaps, Trent Walco down to 0.2 of a second. Very close. Definitely within contact there of Josh Green as they pick up the back marker of Anthony Artelia. And we're going to have a race here before this is done. Trent Walco is going to have something to say to Josh Green before this race is over with.
There we see Trent Walco. We're on the ball. We're going for it. To see the logo on Josh Green. Does Green know he's there? No, he doesn't. And there's contact between the pair of them. And so that's going to hand the lead over to Eric Patino.
How about that, race fans? How about that? Trent Walco inside, and Josh Green just the slightest amount of contact. I believe that was just a racing incident. I think Those two guys were just getting after it, and that little bit of contact, cars loaded up, and around Josh goes.
I wonder if Walker will decide to give the position back. He did slow on the exit of turn 7 and 8 there. I will imagine he'll want to try and let him go back through, but he won't want to let Eric Paterno through at the same time, so he needs to play this one sensibly, does Walker. If he doesn't give it back, will he be penalised later?
Here we go with a better camera angle. Watch as Trent looks inside. It's a braking game here. The slightest of contact, yeah. Trent was a little bit wrong there.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, my argument is that Green left the door open, but I do agree that Walker missed the apex as he tried to go on by. He is going to allow Green back through on the pit straight here. He's played this one sensibly, actually. He's played it very, very well. He'll allow him the inside for turn number 1. Is he fighting it, though, or is he allowing to go back and playing the safe game? Well, he's playing games with him there, isn't he?
I think, Tom, he's going to make the stewards come find his pit box. I don't think he has any intention of giving that spot back to Josh Green.
He may feel that Green left the door open. Well, let these two fight it out, and this has given Eric Paterno an unlikely chance of taking victory. There is Walko going a little too deep, and Green should have all the momentum up the hill towards Ferradura.
Yeah, but Walko has the inside, and he makes it count as he holds court over Josh Green one more corner. This is the race, ladies and gentlemen. 2 professional level full-time instructors at Monticello. Awesome racers, awesome sim drivers, and they are duking it out with a little over 3 minutes to go.
And they've got 2 more laps after this one. Would have loved to have seen a few more laps between these, but the race is what it is. I'm looking at where Peter Bank is now, but with all this battling that's been going on, he's now 7 seconds off the lead. And you never know how this could play out, actually. Eric Paterno is just there, waiting in the wings for these two to start fighting it out again. Walko leading Green, leading Paterno as we begin the penultimate lap here at Interlagos.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Paterno's just got a bucket of popcorn back there. He has the front row seat for the battle, and he's just hoping something happens here. As Walko takes the inside line and plays the defensive game against Josh Green, making Green think about going the long way around, which is a terrible idea in turn 1. And the order is unchanged as they go down through the Senna S.
Out of the Curva de Sol. Out, and we can see Green thinking about going for it here, but he needs to be wary that Paterno is directly behind him. And there is Interlagos not the place to get the move done at. I would probably say turn 1 is where he'll go for it, because that is where the last genuine opportunity will be for Green to go on by.
Well, Walko used the toe up the hill into turn 1 successfully earlier in the race, and Josh Green has not forgotten that lesson. And look at Paterno.
Yeah, you could just see on the right-hand side of Green's cockpit view, you could see Paterno, who was right behind him. So at least he's got that kind of help to know where Paterno is. But he's got to get a good exit out of Yunsao to get back at Walko.
Yeah, this is taking everything Trent Walko has got. Everything Trent Walko has got to stay in front of the talented Josh Green. And so far, so good.
It looks like Green's within range to attack.
Absolutely.
So we're about to begin the last lap here in Sao Paulo. And this is a duel for the lead, or 3 drivers battling for the lead. There is Green going through on Walko at turn number 1. And Walko left the door open for Green to head on through. The 2 almost make contact. It was almost like a bump job between the BMWs. Walko needs to get a good drive coming out of the Curva de Sol to come back at Green at Interlagos. Will he be able to manage it? We'll see. Green taking the inside to defend, and Walko will have to push him tight on the apex to get a run towards Ferradura. He's off the circuit there is Trent Walko, but he is within a car's length to still try and go through. Green defends, so Walko will go to the outside, Derek.
Yeah, such great racing here. Trent just painting the bumper of Green, and Green moving left, moving right, just holding really the preferred line of the track and making Trent really work for it. I just don't think Trent is going to be able to get around because Josh's defense is just too choice.
Unless he makes a last gasp dive at Biga de Pato.
Yeah.
He thinks about it. He's so close between the pair of them. Green holds on.
Close.
So close again. Does Walco decide to go for it at Yun Sao? Is this going to be it could even be a drag race to the line here, Derek.
Some of the best racing we've seen all season. The camera angles don't even do it justice. These two fantastic drivers really just battling it out lap after lap after lap through the final corner, looking for the checkered flag. Walco thinking about the drag race now. He's just not going to have it. He's trying, and across the line is Josh Green in first as these two friends. They're roommates. They live together. They work together. Two great guys go 1-2 both races. Josh Green on P1, Trent Walco in second, and a great two-race night for Eric Paterno, finishing in third for race 2. Peter Bank coming home in fourth. Mosley in fifth. Great drive out of Jeff Ernsting to finish sixth. Sean McAuliffe starting on the back row, finishes in seventh, followed by William Farr. Paul Barthelms, Manny Tartaglione rounds out the top 10. Jason Cohen in 11, James Garay in 12th, Ron Trinka, Chris Peterson, and Anthony Autiello rounding out the field in 15th place. What a great race, Tom.
By 44 thousandths of a second. That was the margin between Green and Walco over the line. And there is Jason Cohen just heading over, completing the day's work or the evening's work in that Porsche. We're just waiting for Ron Trenker to head over the line, which he's done so, and we'll wait for Chris Peterson. But that race was different compared to race 1.
Yeah, you could definitely tell Trent Walco learned some lessons early on and really brought the fight. As you see Chris Peterson, the last car in the field to cross the line to the final corner. What a great race, too. That's the best race we've had all season. What a fantastic drive.
And the drivers will prepare for the next round of the season. But let's have a rundown on the final race result of the evening here at Interlagos in the Monticello Motor Club Esports Challenge. Josh Green is the winner once again, ahead of Trent Walco, but that only tells half the story. Eric Paterno in third place, ahead of Peter Bank, Casey Mosley in fifth, Jeff Ernsting, Sean McAuliffe, William Farr, Paul Barthelms, and Manny Tartaglione ran out the top 10. Jason Cohen and James Garay in 11 and 12, Ron Trinker and Chris Peterson were the last drivers on the lead lap to finish the race. Anthony Ortego did finish, albeit 5 laps down. Michael Stack didn't even take the start.
One final note before we round out the night here at Interlagos. Next week's race, Wednesday night next week, will not be a live broadcast. It'll be coming to you from Silverstone in England, home of Tom Cairns. And I will tell you guys, if you don't know, if you're watching this broadcast, Monticello will be driving at Silverstone this year. I'm taking 10 members to Silverstone in July for driving. We'll be driving McLarens, Astons, and open wheel cars at the Stowe circuit. And if you're interested in going to Silverstone with me and Monticello, get in touch with me at or call concierge about a seat for the Silverstone event this summer. Tom, it was a pleasure.
Oh, that was amazing. And it's wonderful for you to mention the opportunity to head over to Silverstone to drive some McLarens and Aston Martins. So it's a very, very exciting occasion. I thought you were going to say the British Grand Prix, and if you were thinking of going for that would have been brilliant as well. But I think the driving experience is probably better than that.
Oh yeah, we're going to be on the track for 3 days. It's pretty much right at, I mean, we're less than a month after the British Grand Prix. We have a 3-day driving event. We're driving 3 different kinds of cars on basically, we're going to do segment training as well as driving open wheel on the Stowe circuit inside. It's going to be our first time ever doing a Silverstone event for Monticello members, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, you know where to contact Derek if you are interested. And that rounds up the... Yeah.
Sorry. I couldn't help myself, Tom.
It's okay. That rounds up the action here at Interlagos, and it was a duel in Sao Paulo between Josh Green and Trent Walco, particularly in that second race. As we've mentioned, we're not live in next week for these Silverstone rounds, but we will be back in 2 weeks' time for the next round after that. I am Tommy Cairns with Derek Leonard, with Sam Fitzpatrick behind the scenes, and we'll speak to you again soon when the Monticello Motor Club Esports Challenge returns.
Thank you.